I'm excited to talk to you about something that I feel very passionate about in the area of practical advice that can save you time, can save you money, and can allow for you to have a healthier relationship with the process in which you eat. It's called meal prep. Now, some of you might already do it. Some of you might have done it before and lost your footing and you need a reboot. Some of you have thought about it but felt like it was too daunting and it just felt easier to take it day by day. Well, let me state the case for why it's so important to do meal prepping. It saves money because oftentimes when you are going from day to day, you'll choose expensive takeout or you'll, buy foods quickly on the way home from work that maybe you didn't price assess and you just end up, throwing caution to the wind and say, well, we need to eat, so I'm just going to buy it. It saves time in that each day you have something to grab and it already is mapped out and portioned for you. And so, even though you're spending all that time on prep day to make it happen, the amount of time you save all the other subsequent days is well worth it. And it also saves you from making choices around eating and movement that aren't always good for you. Like I mentioned with the save money, grabbing food on the fly, like takeout. It might be a quick fix and you could do it once in a while and everything in moderation, but often those foods, those quick fix foods, whether it's a granola bar or something from the vending machine at work or a full takeout meal, high in sodium, they're quick foods, so they're often high in fat and calories, and they often don't really fuel our bodies. So if you're prepping the foods that you know are healthy and you're portioning them out, a lot of people use those bento boxes or those pre-measured containers, which are either disposable or you could buy them, reusable. It's almost like you're forced to eat a certain amount and it regiments you in a way that keeps you accountable. So I love meal prepping. It's my first suggestion I make when I work with clients on how to meal plan and how to set them off on a path of success with forging a healthy connection with food. So here's what I do on my meal prep day so you have real practical advice so you can get this moving. I always pick a Sunday because it's the day I can do it. Now that doesn't always mean I do my shopping on the same day as meal prepping. Sometimes that feels too daunting to do the shopping and the prepping. That eats up your whole Sunday. And for so many of you, Sunday is errand day, activities for your children, or work catch up. I often do my shopping on a Friday. So I buy extra of everything. So my Friday shopping can be both for Shabbat or for weekend food, or it's for that prep day. So when it comes to produce, I go crazy. And if you know anything about produce, it can last a whole week. So if you buy it on Friday and you prepare it on Sunday, it's going to last you till that subsequent Friday. So I buy lots of produce. I buy choice proteins. So lean meats for my family. I'm personally mostly a vegan. And sometimes I'll buy some fishes, some, fresh cheeses, and, the plant-based proteins that I eat, nuts, seeds, tofu, miso, and all those things. And then I buy lots of grains. Often I buy my grains in bulk, so I don't have to do that purchase every week. Buy them this large and I store them. Storage is everything, you guys listening? Storing things in glass or airtight seals, whether it's your grains and your non-perishables or the prep food that you make on Sunday and you store it in glass, Pyrex with those tight-fitting lids, will keep your food fresher longer. For me personally, I love that because I know that I need it to last a little bit longer. Plastic or some of those other plastics that we know are not so healthy because they have leaching chemicals that go into our foods, especially if we put hot foods inside. You'd be surprised how many chemicals are in those plastic. But I'm not on my soapbox. I'm giving you practical skills and advice. So on that Sunday, I map it out very clearly. I first start with my grains. I set up a couple pots on the stovetop where I use my Instant Pot, which takes even less time so that I could bang out my brown rice, my quinoa, my whole wheat pasta. Once it's done, I always add a little bit of coconut oil, or you can use extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil, depending on your taste preference. And that keeps it kind of moist enough that it's not going to dry out in the containers, and it also stays fresh and enjoyable each time you take some out. I'll grill the chicken, some lean hamburgers for my family for their lunches, and I'll grill for me some salmon, portobello mushrooms, or some tofu or seitan. And I'll store that in some containers after it's cooled. You never want to throw it in when it's burning hot. If it's winter season, I'll make a whole bunch of soups, store those, they can last throughout the week. And then come my raw veggies. If you really are short on time, there's a couple different choppers that I love to use that are like $30, $40 on Amazon. Or if you have a Cuisinart and you want to do fine chop, cut up all my veggies. What happens when all of these items are in all different containers sitting in your fridge? That when you need to prep those lunches the night before, grab, and go. I also love to do smoothies in little portion containers. They sometimes sell little baggies, or you can do pre-made smoothie containers, put them in the freezer after they're made, let them defrost in your fridge the night before, boom, you have breakfast. I also love to do omelet cups for my family. Buy muffin tins, line them with some unbleached parchment paper, fill it up with mixed eggs, a bunch of veggies. Once they're cooked and you pop them out of the muffin tins, and you could put them in little baggies, take them, grab and go for breakfast. My kids, my family love them for lunch. I love them for lunch when I'm eating eggs. Everything can be done on a Sunday. I could talk about this for hours, for days. I've done full seminars on meal prepping, but I want to use the last couple minutes to talk about meal prepping for snacks. Listen, snack bags, whether it's for us or our kids or for our friends or our family, they're easier, but they're significantly more expensive. They are incredible amount of waste in our landfills. If you have like kind of a conscious mindset around our carbon footprint, we do have to leave an earth here for our grandchildren or for just the future humans. Sorry, my 2 cents. But if you buy a bunch of snacks and portion them out, it portion controls you. I usually do with my nuts and seeds. You could use those reusable bags, or you can use the plastic bags. And you would say, okay, maybe that's not as good for the earth. But the point is that you're doing it in advance. I have things like, I'll buy like full bags like this of like dried fruit with no sulfites. And remember, for your nuts and seeds, don't choose roasted or oiled or sugared nuts and seeds. That nullifies their nutritional value. Try to choose raw nuts, some no sulfites, no sugared fruit. Throw them in little bags, or you could use your bento box. I make snack bento boxes where I put the food, snack. I'm personally a grazer. I eat 5 small meals instead of 3 large meals with lots of snacks in between. 5 small meals keep me feeling full longer and help me stay focused on what I'm eating when, instead of things going haywire and eating nonstop. So what is my recommendation to all of you? Prep your proteins, prep your carbs, prep your vegetables. I failed to mention fruits. I mentioned dried fruits and nuts and seeds as snacks. But what about cutting up your fruit in advance? Throwing all your berries or your grapes cut up in those bags. It'll take, I'm confident, and I want you to really listen to me here, 1 to 2 hours on a Sunday. That's about the same amount of time a lot of you spend scrolling. And believe me, I do it too. No judgment, no punishment. But if you can allocate the time, you feel so empowered when you're putting it all together. So what is my advice for you now? Start small. Don't take on the world in a day. Say, for this week, week 1, I'm just going to prep my snacks. Or I'm just going to prep my cut up veggies. Or I'm really short on time, I'm going to buy them already pre-cut. Whatever it is, assign it. Align yourself with those goals like we're setting intention, and just make it happen. I hope I inspired you.